Welcome to Extraterrestrial Reality. There's been a lot happening this week with regards to UFOs and the Pentagon. There's been some shakeups in how AARO handles itself. Deputy Defense Secretary Kathleen Hicks is now overseeing the program, the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, or AARO. Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick will still remain as the director, but apparently what this does is it pushes out Ronald Moultrie, who he's the Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence and Security, and basically he wasn't doing that great of a job, as a lot of us know. A lot of us also believe that Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick wasn't doing that great of a job, but now we'll see maybe he'll perform differently under different leadership, which is now the Deputy Defense Secretary Kathleen Hicks. In addition to all of that, the website, AARO's new website, has launched, and we're going to talk about that a little bit. And anyway, let's start with what happened with the moves within the Pentagon and AARO. Here was an article from Defense Scoop, and of course I will leave the link so you can read the entire thing for yourself. It says here, Deputy Defense Secretary Kathleen Hicks recently moved to personally oversee the Pentagon's Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena Investigation Team, formerly known as the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, Defense Scoop has exclusively learned. And a new website will soon be launched where the incidents can be reported. Now, this was on, this article was from Wednesday, and then the website did launch on Thursday. And if it was down, it wasn't working, it wasn't fully operational. It was working at first, then it went down, and now it is back up as of this recording. And we will check out that website shortly. Anyway, it says the Pentagon's second in charge took action late last month, partly to help speed up AARO's development and launch of a congressionally mandated public website where the organization will be expected to disclose its unclassified work and findings and offer a secure mechanism via which users can submit their own reports of possible UAP observances. In separate discussions over the last week, Hicks and Pentagon spokesperson Eric Pahan briefed Defense Scoop on new details regarding the Deputy Secretary's near-term vision for AARO and the latest status of the new website and reporting mechanism ahead of an official announcement from the Defense Department expected on Thursday. Here's what Hicks said. It was a direct quote from her. She told Defense Scoop, "I believe that transparency is a critical component of AARO's work, and I am committed to sharing AARO's discoveries with Congress and the public, consistent with our responsibility to protect critical national defense and intelligence capabilities." Then it goes on here. It says, mysterious, seemingly unexplainable flying objects have long perplexed humans all over the world. For decades, they have been referred to as UFOs, but recently the United States government began using the UAP moniker to account for what appear to be craft that can travel underwater or transition between space and Earth's atmosphere or other domains. The latest surge of interest and pressure from the American public and Congress started really mounting in the last 5 or so years in response to multiple verified videos showing U.S. military pilots' interactions with baffling objects, often around key national security installations. Hicks formally established AARO via an official memorandum last year after lawmakers mandated its creation in the fiscal 2022 National Defense Authorization Act. And here Hicks says, the UAP mission is not easy, and AARO's mission to minimize technical and intelligence surprise by synchronizing scientific intelligence and operational detection, identification, attribution, and mitigation of UAP objects of national security issues is being orchestrated by a small but growing team. AARO is not yet at full operational capability, and I look forward to AARO achieving that in fiscal year 2024. And then regarding Sean Kirkpatrick, to meet the directions from Congress and led by its inaugural director, Kirkpatrick, AARO officials must disseminate a series of reviews about the organization's expanding portfolio of UAP investigations and sightings that Defense Department and intelligence community personnel catalog. Now, apparently Kirkpatrick is, of course, he's still going to be the director of this, although I know a lot of people in the UFO community will probably not be happy about that, but it is now being overseen by somebody else. His boss now is going to be he'll be directly reporting to Kathleen Hicks rather than to Ronald Moultrie. So apparently Moultrie is just, he's moved out. But Now there was other things that have been going. I'm not going to read the rest of this article. You could check it out for yourself. It's a lengthy piece, and it's very interesting. However, on Thursday there was also Pentagon official Brigadier General Pat Ryder. He's the Pentagon press secretary. He was talking about AARO during his meeting with members of the media. And so this was actually, he was talking about other things, but this was basically the segments of this press conference where he was just talking about AARO and what's going on and what he foresees with this new website. Anyway, and this was put together by Joe Murgia. He's a Twitter presence in the UFO Twitter community, and he put this together this way so you didn't have to listen to the things that didn't deal with UFOs. So thank you, Joe Murgia. Anyway, here it is.
In other news, the department is launching a website on the All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office to provide the public with information concerning AARO and its efforts to understand and resolve unidentified anomalous phenomena. This website will provide information, including videos and photos, on resolved UAP cases as they're declassified and approved for public release. The website's other content includes reporting trends and frequently asked questions section, as well as links to official reports, transcripts, press releases, and other resources that the public may find useful. The department is committed to transparency with the American people on AARO's work on UAPs. The website will serve as a one-stop shop for all publicly available information related to AARO and UAP, and AARO will regularly update the website with its most recent activities and findings as new information is cleared for public release. You can see AARO's new website at www.aaro.mil. Thank you. Let me go to Liz here.
On the UAP website that was released and announced today, how can you ensure that the reported sightings are legitimate and real? How will that be investigated? Can you talk about that process to make sure, people don't put in jokes?
Sure. Well, broadly speaking, it's important to understand that first of all, as I highlighted right now, the posting of the website is the next step in this process in terms of ensuring that the public has information and insight into UAPs. And so what you see today is what has been declassified to date. As we move ahead into the future, there will be a subsequent update to that site that will allow DoD service members or civilians to provide reports via a private and secure means. And again, that's a critical aspect of this, is ensuring that information can be received in a way in which it will be properly handled to ensure, again, privacy, both from a statutory and a regulatory standpoint, but then also to ensure that that website and the information there is secure. So this will be something that we'll continue to keep the public updated on. AARO is focused on the facts, taking in information, reviewing the facts, and then when possible, declassifying that information and making it available. We'll go to Tony and then go to the phone.
On the website, I just want to be clear, civilians can access it, but they can't post their UFO, UAP photos or video on the site. Is that right?
That's correct.
On the website, I just want to be clear, this is not something the public can voluntarily post what they think are UAP episodes. This is DoD, it's like a repository of what you've already disclosed.
So there are all right, a couple of phases here. So what you have today is information from AARO that has been declassified as it relates to looking into UAP reportings. The next step will be in the relatively near future, enabling service members and civilians, DoD civilians who have reports to make regarding UAPs to be able to submit those for consideration and review by AARO. As it relates to the public being able to provide inputs, that is something that we will look to do in the future, but I don't have an estimate right now in terms of when the public will be able to submit reports in terms of private citizens, for example. Thanks very much, sir.
Thank you.
And then I really am going to go to the phone.
On the AARO question, it's also our understanding that the program itself is now going to be under the purview of Deputy Secretary Hicks. I'm just wondering what that changes operationally about AARO and about the way it functions?
Yeah, well, operationally, it doesn't change the way that AARO functions, other than, again, it highlights the importance of the program to the department and the fact that it has the Deputy Secretary's full attention to ensure that she's able to advocate and fight for the resources that they need in order to conduct their mission.
And Congress mandated that you all share what is unclassified on that website. There was an amendment to the NDAA sponsored by Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer that would have the National Archives declassify its UAP or UFO records. Is AARO going to be doing that as well, looking to declassify some of the information that it has?
Yeah, let me take that question because I don't know the answer to that. We'll come back. Yeah.
I have one more if you may.
Third one.
Indulge me.
All right.
The whistleblower who came forward, former Air Force Intel officer David Grush, the claims that he made in Congress in that congressional hearing were based on interviews he said he had done with 40 people as he was reporting to AARO as well. Are any of those reports going to be published on this website, those interviews, or would any of those people who he allegedly interviewed be made available to Congress?
Just to clarify, the interviews that he himself conducted?
He said that information that he had was based on interviews that he had done or spoken to people, 40 people or more. I'm just wondering if any of those...
Yeah, so again, as I understand it, AARO is very willing to take any inputs or information and to investigate into claims of UAP. And so if that information is made available to the department, certainly we'll take a look at it. In this particular individual's case, I do not know whether he has provided it to AARO to review or not. But again, broadly speaking, this office, for obvious reasons, is going to take this mission seriously. They are taking it seriously, and so would be willing to look at anything that's provided. So thank you very much. I'll come back to the room. We're going to go to Brandy, and then we'll come over here. Yes.
Thank you, Pat.
Hey,
Back to AARO, 2 more questions. Is Dr. Kirkpatrick and his team set to deliver their next mandated report to appropriate congressional committees with updates on their ongoing cases of UAP investigations? And if so, when?
Yeah, I'm not going to provide a date from the podium here, Brandy, but I will say that we expect that report to be delivered relatively soon. And so, of course, when we do, we'll let you know.
And then just given the momentum, I feel, around UAP transparency, would Deputy Secretary Hicks or the department commit to regularly briefing us on AARO's updates?
Thanks, Brandy. So we will, by evidence of this website, we will do everything we can to ensure that the public has information as it relates to UAP that's releasable, that's factual. And so, we will commit to providing timely, accurate information on this topic again as it becomes available.
Available to the press?
Again, I'm not going to do scheduling here or action officer work here from the podium, but again, we will continue to keep the public informed on this important topic. Thank you very much.
Okay, so there you go. There you have it. There's some questions he was unable to answer, but that's what we have right now. And then there was also a press release from Thursday. This is from the Department of Defense, and here's what it says. It says the Department of Defense launches the All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office website. Today, the department launched a website on the All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office to provide the public with information concerning AARO and its efforts to understand and resolve unidentified anomalous phenomena. The website will provide information including photos and videos on unresolved UAP cases as they are declassified and approved for public release. The website's other content includes reporting trends and a frequently asked questions section, as well as links to official reports, transcripts, press releases, and other resources that the public may find useful, such as applicable statutes and aircraft, balloon, and satellite tracking sites. This fall, consistent with Section 1673 of the National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 2023, AARO will launch a secure reporting tool on the website to enable current and former U.S. government employees, service members, or contractors with direct knowledge of U.S. government programs or activities to contact AARO directly to make a report. The department is conducting its final reviews to ensure the reporting mechanism complies with the Privacy Act of 1974, Whistleblower Protection Enhancement Act of 2012, the Federal Employee Anti-Discrimination and Retaliation Act of 2002, and the Paperwork Reduction Act of 1995. In the interim, current U.S. service members, U.S. government employees, and civil aviators are encouraged to continue to use the existing reporting mechanisms available to them through their organizations. A mechanism for members of the general public to make reports will be announced in coming months. Then it goes on to say that the department is committed to transparency with the American people on AARO's work on UAP. This website will serve as a one-stop shop for all publicly available information related to AARO and UAP, and AARO will regularly update the website with its most recent activities and findings as new information is cleared for public release. Now, we're going to check out AARO's new website here. It has the director's message on it. It says, welcome to the website for the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, or AARO. Our team of experts is leading the United States government's efforts to address unidentified anomalous phenomena using a rigorous scientific framework and a data-driven approach. Since its establishment in July 2022, AARO has taken important steps to improve data collection, standardize reporting requirements, and mitigate the potential threats to safety and security posed by UAP. We look forward to using this site to regularly update the public about AARO's work and findings and to provide a mechanism for UAP reporting. Thank you for visiting Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick. Yeah. Well, let me just say, they describe what UAP are and things like that. And what they say here is coming soon. It says United States government UAP related program / activity reporting. AARO will be accepting reports from current or former U.S. government employees, service members, or contractors with direct knowledge of United States government programs or activities related to UAP dating back to 1945. These reports will be used to inform AARO's congressionally directed historical record report. We will announce when a reporting mechanism is available for others to use. This form is intended as an initial point of contact with AARO. It is not intended for conveying potentially sensitive or classified information. Following the submission of your report, AARO staff may reach out to request additional detail or arrange for an informational review. And apparently there's going to be places for civilians to actually, in the future at some point too, to file reports. And then there's different links here you could click on. For instance, you could look at some of the official UAP videos that are they're not classified. Let's check it out here. It goes. They actually have 5 right as of this moment right now. There's the 3 videos that we already know, the Go Fast, Gimbal, FLIR videos. We have already seen them. There was another video that we saw before this Navy 2021 flyby. We've seen that one before. Apparently all of these have, a couple of these here are unresolved. But they're saying that when you read this, though, earlier it was saying that they're only going to be putting on resolved UAP. They're not going to be putting on unresolved, but already there are at least two on here. The Middle East object that we saw. This was a clip taken in the Middle East, and while AARO assesses the object in the clip is not exhibiting anomalous behavior, the object remains unidentified. So as of now, some of the videos that they have on here are unresolved, even though they're saying that they're only going to be showing resolved videos. So I don't know if that's just an error on their part or what. I don't know. But it wouldn't really doesn't really make sense, really, where you're going to show resolved things like spy balloons and stuff like that. Okay, here's a Chinese spy balloon that was mistaken for a flying saucer. I mean, who cares about that stuff? I just feel like all of this is a stupid game we're playing. I mean, all of this, everything, the necessity of an all-domain anomaly resolution office, for one thing. Is it necessary, really? I guess it is. But really, it shouldn't be. All of this stuff, all of this nonsense, all of these different talking heads from the Pentagon. Okay, we're changing music. We're having musical chairs here. Okay, Moultrie's not in charge of Kirkpatrick and AARO anymore. Now it's going to be Kathleen Hicks. Is it really going to make a difference? I don't know. Okay, here's a website where people could report things. I mean, are we ever going to get to the truth here? Or are they just, is this just some dog and pony show, right? It doesn't make, none of this ever makes sense to me. I always get back to this. It's like, just come out with the information already. Who are the people hiding this? Where's the secret control group? Let's get them out. Why do we have to play this dumb game? Have whistleblowers like David Grush, go on to testify and then to be lambasted by the media and insiders from the Pentagon who we don't know who they are, who keep their names private. How come we have to go through all of this? How come whistleblowers have to go through all of this? All of this doesn't make any sense to me. None of it really does. It's like we're playing this stupid game. It's just all of this is like a method by the government to just try to appease the people. It's almost like Project Blue Book 2.0 or something. It's nonsense. It's all of it is nonsense to me. It's very confusing. It's complicated. You have all these different people. Okay, now this person's going to be taken over, and we're going to. It's just a bunch of gibberish. It really comes down to when the bottom line is the reality is there's an extraterrestrial presence here. What do you know? Where are the crashed objects? What have you learned from them? Just give us that. But we got to play this dumb game, have AARO and Congress complaining and whistleblowers getting lambasted like David Grush recently was. It's just unreal to me that we're just continuing this way. Why? That's where I'm at with all this. I mean, if you're just a regular person out there watching all of this and reading all of these things and seeing these articles and all this, everything's all so formal and the Undersecretary of Defense for blah, blah, blah. Who cares? I just want to know. I just want the information. Stop with this dog and pony show. Just give it to us already. This is nonsense. It's crazy. So that's where I'm at with all of this. I mean... And what are they going to show on here? Are they ever going to show, like, okay, Lou Elizondo was talking about there were some videos taken from fighter jets where you could actually see the beings. Do you think they're ever going to show us that on here? They're not going to show us that. That will remain classified till the end of time if the Pentagon has their way. It's like, it's so stupid. All of this is so dumb. And it's just some way that, okay, well, we got to give them something, right? And all this does is just continue a useless debate online with a bunch of idiotic debunkers, right? That's all it does. It really doesn't do anything. It's just going to elongate this infinitum. Just let it continue like this, where people are just stupid about all of this and are not given any information. It just very tiring, very upsetting, the whole thing. But I don't know what to say about it. I guess, is it a good thing? Okay, I guess it is. It's something. We're getting somewhere. But at the same time, it's like, why do we have to take all these steps? Why can't we just go from point A to point B? Why do we have to have point A, 8.1, 8.2, 8.3, 8.4, 8.5, 8.6, 8.7? It's like we're just going all these little mini steps we got to take. By the time we finally get it, I'll be like 95 years old with a long beard like Rip Van Winkle sitting up in the mountain or something. I mean, come on. I'm just tired of this stupidity. I know that there's something here. A lot of people know that there's something here. We just need to hear right directly from the whistleblowers. This AARO office, okay, they're going to look at stuff and determine, okay, this one was a balloon, a weather balloon. This is a drone. Classify with that stuff that we can't figure out now. That we're just going to keep that in our back pocket. We're not going to show the public that stuff. The stuff where you can see the gray alien being looking out of a porthole. We'll sit on that stuff. In addition to we'll continue to play patty cakes with the secret control group and let them keep their secrets while they try to continue with their reverse engineering program. Like all of this, it just seems like so useless to me. Like, why don't we just go right to the conclusion here instead of just playing this dumb game that's going to last forever, seemingly. But that's where I'm at with this. I've said this a long time ago, and of course I'm saying it again right now. That's how I feel about this. What's this going to, in the end game, or is it just going to be more disappointment as we have more hearings? Now, of course, they're talking about another report that Brigadier General doesn't know when it's going to come out. He said it's going to be soon. I mean, maybe, is there going to be anything in there? I doubt it. Is there anything going to be is there going to be any of the truly anomalous stuff in there? Are we going to really actually see anomalous stuff? Why don't they just finally admit the truth already? You hear from certain people sometimes over the years, and I do believe that the biggest reason, certainly the biggest reason as far as I'm concerned, for this decades-long cover-up has to be because of the reverse engineering aspects. They're trying to reverse engineer this stuff behind the scenes, and they probably have also, who's ever controlling this, they've also convinced themselves that the human race will not be able to handle this. That may have been true 75 years ago, but it's not true today. The human race is ready. The human race could deal with this, and they're just fooling themselves. That's not true. The human race could deal with the reality that we're not alone in the universe, and it's time to come clean on it instead of playing these dumb games that are going to drag this thing out infinitum, and who knows if we're ever going to get to the end of it the way this is going. But I mean, now this is going to provide a place. Now, for instance, this website's going, if not right now, it's not completely set up correctly yet, but it will provide a place where people in the military, and then at some point later on, civilians will be able to send information about about encounters or UAP that they saw. But what's going to happen? How is that? I mean, are they going to? They're going to look at the ones that they could figure out. Okay, we figured this one out. This was an airplane. Okay, or this was a commercial jet, and it was in a distance, and something was reflecting off it. So we figured that out. Okay, this was a weather balloon. Okay, we figured that. They'll show us those. Show the public. See, we're figuring it out. Figuring it out. Weather balloon, drone. Okay, commercial plane. But they won't ever put on the good stuff. The only reason I think that they have on these like this Middle East object that they haven't figured out yet is because they already had talked about this during a hearing. So that's what I think. So they felt compelled to put it on there. And in addition to the other three, the gimbal, go fast, and FLIR. So yeah, I mean, I think as this goes on, we'll be lucky to see the good stuff that they have. Like we've heard from other people, from other insiders, like of course, like Lou Elizondo said, there's much better video out there that they have. Are we ever going to see that? I highly doubt it. Not the way this is going. This is, for whatever reason, they don't want to share this information. They don't want to share the truth with the public. These people believe that they're smarter than everyone else. That they believe that the public, even though they could deal with the truth, right? And even though there's a whole bunch of other people out there who could deal with the truth. For instance, I've been dealing with the truth for a long time now. I know that there's something here because I saw them with my own eyes. I just want more information on them. But this, to me, it's just, I don't know. I just feel like, to me, it feels like a dog and pony show because I mean, to me, it's all useless. All of it is. I mean, why not just get right to the point, right? Right to give us the information that's been hidden from us for all these years instead of playing these games like this, because that's what it seems like to me. Okay, moving on. I want to talk about some comments I've received from different people recently. And actually, one of the comments is from somebody who was commenting on my recent I was talking to my most recent podcast, NASA bigwig blames spy balloons for UFO sightings / three-fingered aliens abduct foursome. I had received a comment from somebody just today, actually, and it was from somebody named Rue. And Rue says, I think you should be regressed. You have a whole podcast about wanting to know the truth about aliens and claim to have had an experience, but you're scared to find out about it. That makes no sense. Well, let me explain this, okay? I get it. The question, thank you for that question. That's interesting. But the reality is I already know. I already know that there's something here. I don't need to know more of what my experience entails, right? And the reason I am demanding more information from, wanting to know more information about them, I want to hear it from what the government has learned. That's complete. They're two, as far as I'm concerned, that's two different kinds of animals, right? I want to know more about these extraterrestrials. I want to know what the government has learned over the past 76 years or longer. Who knows how long they've been covering it up? We're not really sure. But at the same time, I don't want to relive an experience that was terrifying. The part that I remember was terrifying, and I'm sure if I was be regressed, it's possible that rest of it would even be more terrifying. What could I learn about that except being terrified? I already know that they're here. I've already talked about. There was some alien creature in my room when I was a kid, and then in the 70s, and then later on in the 90s during a fishing trip, I saw a UFO up close. So I already know that they're here. I just want to know more about them. I want to know what the government has learned about them. I understand what you're saying. Well, you should want to know more about that experience. Yeah, you're right. Maybe I will. I just, at this moment in time, I'm not ready to do that. I just don't feel like it right now. Maybe at some point in the future I will. I could change my point of view on that. I guess we'll see as time will tell. Then I received another question from somebody here. This was for the episode Loeb's meteor is interstellar / Coulthard slams mainstream for lousy UFO reporting. I received a question from Albert222. He asked, is there a method to your madness? Do you release videos on predetermined days, or do you just do a video when you feel like it? That's a great question, and the reality is it's no predetermined days. My goal would be to do one every single day of the week, including weekends, right? 7 days if I could. But what always happens is I'd like to do that. I wish I could do it every day, all the time, every single day. I don't have any predetermined times during a day, but my goal is always, if I could do a podcast every single day, I would do it. But what ends up happening a lot of times, life gets in the way. Other things come up that need to be addressed, and it takes me away from it. So I have to sometimes take a day off from it. So that's the answer. But the other part of the question was, there's no real method really. It's just I'd like to do one every single day, whatever time of day. I don't know. It's not like when I feel like it. It's like when I do have the time, when I'm finally able to sit down and do it. And but again, sometimes life gets in the way and puts up a stopper, and I just can't get to it. But thank you very much for the question. And I also want to talk about the most recent poll on Spotify. And this was for that episode, NASA Bigwig blames spy balloons for UFO sightings. Recently there was somebody who was on YouTube, a follower on YouTube, who was complaining that I use names too much for debunkers and whatnot. And my reason is like the reason I call people dummies and things like that is because that's how the other side has treated the UFO community for decades. So I think it needs to be thrown back in their face at this time, because they are the true dummies as far as I'm concerned, because they have not accepted this. They have not educated themselves on this subject. The Pentagon has been most certainly lying about this for decades. And if you would research this and read books written by different people like Richard Dolan and Timothy Good, books, basically historical books, as far as I'm concerned, that lay out the whole history of this, all these different, and in addition to that, right, in addition to these books, I mean, there's been different people who have stepped forward over the decades that were within the government that talked about these things. There's most certainly a cover-up, and so if you can't accept it at this point, then that's on you. You're the one who's fooling yourself. But anyway, I asked this question for the poll. Of the names used in the ET Reality podcast to describe debunkers, mainstream pundits, and lying bureaucrats, which one is your favorite? So far, this is only since a couple days ago now, 52 votes so far. The least amount was for dumbbells. Dumbbells only got 2 votes, or 3.8%. So that's not that much. But I think there is some use for dumbbells sometimes. I think that one definitely comes in handy. And then next in line was idiots. That received only 4 votes, or 7.7%. I mean, idiots is, that definitely has its uses, no question about it. Next in line is dummies. That receives 7 votes, or 13.5%. Yes, a lot of these people, I think it's perfectly fair to call some of these people dummies. The people who call people who have encountered these things, or people who are blowing the whistle on these things, when they call them crackpots and crazy and PTSD, people with PTSD and they can't be trusted, when they say stuff like that, I call them dummies. And so yes, that's a good one. 7 people say yes, or 13.5%. Okay, next in line, I missed one, knuckleheads. 6, only 6 people voted for knuckleheads. Yep, 11.5%. Yeah, that's definitely knuckleheads is a good one to use, no question. Okay, and then should have been dummies after that. And let's see, what's next in line? Oh, imbeciles, 15.4%, or 8 votes for imbeciles. Some people like when I use that term to describe these people. Yes, most certainly, they definitely, most certainly are imbeciles, some of these people. And then next in line is morons. That received 10, or 19.2%. So, yeah, morons, most certainly definitely fits. And then 15 people, or 28.8%, the winner here, dum-dums. Dum-dums, yep. That's the one. That's the main one. That's the one I like to use the most, actually. So it makes sense that received the most votes. Yeah, dum-dums. Yeah, that's what I say. But yeah, that's where I'm at with it. So I don't take it from these people, and I'm not going to take it from them, and I don't care what they say. These people that don't want to accept this, that's on them at this point, and I believe that, in the end, I know that I'm right and they're wrong. People who are on the side of that know that there's something here, people who are tired of the cover-up that want more answers, right? It's okay. It's okay to call these other people who are calling you a crackpot. It's okay to call them dummies or dum-dums or morons or whatever, because that's what they are. Because you're telling them a truth and they're not accepting that truth. That's on them. If they want to be ignorant about this, well, that's their problem. But in the end, you're gonna be the one who's right. I know that for a fact. Anyway, I want to say thank you for joining me. Until next time.